What's up, YouTube and Facebook? We are Not Quite Mint, and today we're going to be talking about what we've been reading in quarantine and what we've picked up in the post, because obviously you can't go to your comic book shop and buy anything, so we'd have to get stuff shipped in instead. So should we get into it, Rich?
Yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you are subscribed, and obviously if you are watching via Facebook, make sure that you've got obviously our page liked. As I say, we're doing three streams every week as much as we can. Key comics on a Tuesday, obviously this comics in quarantine on a Thursday, and then when we've got time over the weekend, we're going to just like catch up with like sort of things that we've been watching, any films or stuff that we've been watching on the streaming services. But we're all about comics today. So my question today, which is relevant to one of the books that I've been reading, I'll just pop it up onto the screen. But it's basically, I'm wondering, what do you guys think is going to happen next with the DC universe? Obviously, post Doomsday Clock, we've got things like Joker Wars going to be starting soon once we get obviously our physical copies back. And just which direction do you think the DC universe is going based on some of the things that have been going on recently?
They're all going to die of corona.
Yeah, great. Superman will be all right. Dr. Manhattan.
No, Superman's going to be the worst.
No, Mr. Manhattan will be fine. Dr. Manhattan, or whatever the fuck his name is. But yeah,
the big blue guy.
Yeah, the blue dude. As I say, I've been reading Watchmen and obviously the Doomsday Clock, and I can't remember all the bloody names, but yeah, definitely. Obviously, let us know what you think about DC Universe, guys. So we get it kicked off, and Tom, I'll let you start, mate.
All right, mate. Yeah, cool.
If you pop it up, there you go. If you want to let everybody know what you've been reading.
Yeah, well, right. So for my first pick for my comics in quarantine that I've been reading is Batman and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I picked this one up to read purely because I read the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I absolutely loved it. So far, it's my pick of the whole year as like one of the best comics I've read. It's just well written. It's fun. It's easy to pick up. It's for everybody. So I mean, I think it's really good. So I went back and reread this, and this is actually written by James Tynion, who's writing the current Batman run. So it's really, really well written, and the artwork is done by Freddie Williams II, and he is insane. So I don't want to spoil anything for you, but you should definitely go out and get this book just purely because some of the things that happen into it. So imagine if the Turtles ended up in the DC universe and they brought the mutagen with them. What possibly could happen? I mean, that it literally is that's exactly what it happens. So your imagination should be running wild with you. You know, what happens if somebody gets tooled up with the mutagen? You know, like say Penguin or Joker or Bane or Freeze. What would happen to those characters? It is really, really good. And the whole Shredder Batman fight is insane. There's some really funny bits in this, like without giving too much away, because obviously go out and read it. There's a bit where Splinter and Batman have a bit of banter, and then a bit later on, it gets a little bit escalated between him and Raphael, like between Batman and Raphael, and it's really, really funny. And then it gets really kind of dark, and then there's this really nice bond that builds between Batman and Raphael just because of their past. Really, really good. I actually would recommend this one hugely to anyone. 10 out of 10, this book for me.
Sounds good, mate. Sounds good. Well, I've been obviously enjoying the because it still hasn't finished, has it? Probably should have finished now, but obviously everything's the whole comic book, everything has just totally imploded. But yeah, I mean, it's as I say, it's one of those ones that I think, because I'm obviously I love Batman. I think I might have to give this a read myself, mate.
Do it. I've just started chapter. They've done a second and a third run of this.
Yeah.
The third run. I've read this one and I've read the second one, which I'll talk about next week. But I'm just started the third one, and it's so far what they've done with it is amazing. But I'll get onto that one.
I like it. I like it. Right. Let's start then with one of the ones I've been reading. So, going to talk, basically it is. We did obviously earlier in the week. We did we spoke about our Flash comics, and for that, to get ready, obviously I read some of the Flash bits and bobs that I've got obviously knocking about, but also it's led into the fact that obviously I'm quite a Watchmen fan as well. So I read this bad boy. It's obviously collected edition of The Button. Absolutely outstanding book. And
who's the writer?
With this one, it's Joshua Williamson and Tom King, I believe.
Nice.
So I think when you go through, different books are done by different people. The artists are Jason Fabok and Howard Porter.
Oh, is it because it's Batman and Flash? So you get a Batman comic, Flash comic, Batman comic, Flash comic.
Yeah. So the Batman books are Tom King because it's part of the Tom King run. I think it'll tell me on the back. So it's Batman 21 and 22 and the Flash 21 and 22. But it was all part of this. They did a road to the Doomsday Clock because that's something else, obviously, that's been on my reading list as well. But The Button. As I say, went into it with very little sort of expectations. Didn't really know a great deal about like the Flash, certainly, but it's just the artwork's brilliant, and how they tie it in, obviously, with obviously like the sort of like the cliffhanger before we obviously lead into it's on that page there, if you can see, with the Mr. Manhattan hand and stuff. It's amazing. And then obviously you've got like obviously what it leads into Doomsday Clock with the epilogue. And I mean the artwork, as I say, really, really iconic stuff in there with obviously, the Button and Batman, and having not known it very much about the Flash beforehand, and I did a little bit of research to try and bring myself up and understand, obviously, you've got your Wally West, your Jay Garricks, and obviously Barry Allen's. And I thought this did such a good sort of representation of going full circle and pulling together all those sort of like loose ends of the Flash. So it was really enjoyable to read. I didn't feel out of my depth at all, and obviously it has inspired me to sort of like go back and look at sort of some of like the sort of Silver Age Flash books, as well as like I'm a Batman collector anyway. But hopefully I should have some stuff arriving next week with that. But it is just a brilliant story. It has absolutely everything that you could want from a book, and as I say, it's over really quickly because it's only 4 books.
I'm not surprised it's good. I mean, if it's written by Tom King in places, I'm not surprised it's good.
Yeah, it's as I say, I literally could not fault it, and obviously read it in one sitting, and it was just superb. It really was. And then, as I say, I wasn't out of my depth at all. The way that they brought the story together, and it's literally like all action all the way through. Obviously, Batman and the Flash, using the cosmic treadmill and all this kind of stuff. So I don't want to, for anybody who hasn't read it, I don't want to give too much away because but there's stuff like that. Obviously, I think that's one of the cover.
That's Reverse Flash, is it?
Yeah, and that's Reverse Flash, obviously, because he does play a fairly big part in there as well, an unexpected part as well, because he's supposed to be dead. Obviously, at the from the end of Flashpoint, isn't it? So,
wow, is he, or is he just in the?
Well, it's this whole thing with the Speed Force, isn't it? It's just like nobody quite knows what the overarching significance or long-term plays with.
Well, the way DC do everything is they always reset it using Barry Allen. So whatever happens, at some point he'll be running really, really fast, and he'll reset the universe. That's how it works.
Yeah. I mean,
he'll break something that then brings other people from other realities into our universe, just because that's what Barry Allen does.
Yeah, definitely. It's as I say, it is so well worth watching. It really is so. But anyway, enough about me, mate. Going on to your second selection, which is
Oh, mate, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers by Boom Studios. I tell you what. Again, I went back and read this purely because of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Power Rangers comic, and I actually really like this. I didn't expect to, because I loved the show when I was a kid, but as I've grown up, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit like it's all a bit crazy. But I actually really like this, and I actually think the writer Kyle Higgins has done such a good job of making it. It is kind of a kids comic. However, there is quite a mature level to it. So there's lots of hidden meanings behind stuff, and there's lots of like dialogue that goes on between the characters. And if you're an adult, you'll pick it up. If you're a youngster, you're not going to pick up what they're talking about, which is really clever. And I think Corin Howell does amazing with the artwork. It is really, really good. I've only read volume 1, which is, I think, is the first 16 issues. Absolutely loved it. It was absolutely brilliant. I mean, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but I would recommend reading this one just as if you want to have a taste of something different. It's not superheroes, essentially like, the normal, Marvel stuff or the DC stuff. If you want to try something different, try this out, because it's actually really well written. It's got a lot of twists and turns, things you don't expect. It actually has some stuff in it that you don't expect. If you've watched the TV show when you were a kid, a lot of the stuff that happens in this comic does back it up, but also kind of blows them out of complete proportion in a way that you're like, right, this is I know where this is going, and then it doesn't go the way you want it to go, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that's just happened. But yeah, I'd pick this one up. I'd give this one probably a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, because I'll probably end up catching you up, because I've got Shattered Grid Omnibus and Year 2 Omnibus, but I'm loath to jump in at the Year 2 Omnibus, having not read the Year 1 Omnibus, but I'm hoping that the Year 1 will come.
You definitely should read 1, because how the first 16 issues end to how it goes on into Shattered Grid, you're going to miss some fundamental parts of who's who and why they're doing what they're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, to be fair. As I say, I mean, you can see them there, actually. You probably can see them on the shelf, but still minty fresh, haven't been read. But yeah, I think I need to get that Year 1, or at least like get the collected editions up to Year 2, because that'll probably be a cheaper way of doing it. So
the Green Power Ranger, man. I mean, he's awesome. He's got them cool shoulder pads and all sorts. And he's also called Tom.
Did you just say that shoulder pads were cool?
Yeah. His shoulder pads are cool. The Legion of Doom, they had shoulder pads. They were cool. American football players, they're cool. They have shoulder pads.
I have shoulder pads. So like 80 shoulder pads going on. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. The whole golden shoulder pads, mate.
I know what's going on your Christmas list, mate. You're getting some nice shoulder pads.
Mate, there you go, I'll take some golden shoulder pads.
Golden shoulder pads. You'd have to wear them on this channel as well.
I'd go full Power Ranger if I could.
I know you would. That's the worrying thing. You definitely would. Right then, shall we move? Yeah. Oh, cool. He's Grey Man on. Cool. Awesome. Discovery Bay. I don't even know what Discovery Bay is.
Google.
Right then. So, shall we move on to my next little weekly read? I've kind of alluded to it already, because it's on a bit of a theme, but I obviously got the Doomsday Clock. What's it on there? In preparation for that, I did read my Watchmen over here. Good Alan Moore goodness. I definitely have found my kind of like my sort of like, I don't know, my home for comics. I think it's always going to sit with the more darker, like adult stuff. It just like, I remember I read Watchmen a long time ago, probably around about the time when there was all the hype around like the film and stuff. And I haven't seen the new HBO series. Yeah, and I loved that book at the time, and I was probably a little bit too young to be reading that book. maybe when I first read it. But it's been out a long time. It's bloody fantastic. I like Alan Moore anyway, because has he done a Swamp Thing run?
No idea, mate.
Alan Moore. I think he might have done. But anyway, I'm very, very love Watchmen. Obviously, it's one of those. If you've watched the film, it's fairly true to the book. It's a pretty good adaptation.
Is there a big
Fantastic
blue
characters? Obviously, Mr. Manhattan. What is it? Ozymandias, comedian, Night Owl, obviously, and then my favourite. I think I'll say it right. Rorschach.
No
But
idea.
he's bloody brilliant. Obviously, Silk Spectre, I think, is the lady in it as well. So
Apparently the best Swamp Thing run ever.
yeah,
I'll have to read it.
the omnibus is on my shopping list for that. If it's anywhere near as good as his other writing, like with Watchmen and stuff, I've just got to get it. Got to get it.
In the comic, is there a big blue giant thing?
Yeah, and if Greyman's recommending it as well, that's even better. He's even better.
Are you ignoring me on purpose?
What's that?
I said, is there a big blue in the comic?
What? He's Wiener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to find it for you?
No, I don't. But I was just asking if it was in the comic.
I'll send you a picture of it later, mate.
No, thanks.
Yeah, it's quite funny because if you watch anybody who reviews the Watchmen comic, they always like blur out his big blue penis. So, sorry, yeah, wasn't it? Well, I wasn't actually going to talk about anatomy, but there you go, man. But yeah, so just absolutely superb. Purpose of Doomsday Clock. Obviously, it's different because it's written by Jeff Johns.
Great writer.
Artworks, obviously, been brought more up to date, and it's just like, whereas Watchmen is very much kind of like set in its own kind of world and universe, Doomsday Clock obviously brings the characters of Watchmen into the current DC universe effectively, and we've got obviously crossovers with Superman and all the rest of it, and the story's really, really introverted in the sense that when there's certain the way that it does the storytelling, it kind of like reinvents certain characters' origins in some respects, but that later gets explained, so it's not like a reboot or it's not like a cop out or anything like that. The way that Johns has wrote Doomsday Clock is really it's really clever. Obviously, it's not Alan Moore, so it probably hasn't got quite as much of that grit. But in terms of the way that the twists are delivered with Jeff Johns, it's very, very good, and the artwork's stunning. All your favourites are in there, obviously, from your Batmans, your Supermans. Joker makes an appearance as well.
Does Superman and Mr. Manhattan go at it, or what?
Again, I don't want to ruin it, but basically, yeah, there's an element of will they, won't they?
Because I'd read it just for that. If
building up through it, but the way that is handled again is it's very clever. It's very, very cleverly written. So I'll just that's all I can say. So 100%. As I say, I don't want to, because it's still quite new as well. And the hardcover, the collected hardcovers, well, part 2 comes out in May. So part 1, obviously, hardcover is out, and it's still downstairs because I haven't brought it up with me. But yeah, definitely 100%. Check it out. It's really good. On the image that we've got up as well, it's got I think it's the 2 characters on there, which I think is Mime and Marionette. They're quite key in this storytelling as well. So they're kind of like lesser known sort of DC villains that feature quite a lot throughout the books as well. But yeah, definitely 100% check it out. There's some really, really, really good twists, really good unexpected surprises, appearances. It's just stunning. I mean, Watchmen, for its time and for what it is fantastic. But Doomsday Clock, for everything that's going on with the DC universe, 100% raises the roof. 100%. Your mum's here.
Yeah, my mum's here.
I'll say hi.
Hi, Mum.
So we're
I
gonna
need to make a formal complaint, but a formal apology, by the sounds of it, to the Grey Man. I'm sorry I called him Mr. Manhattan and not Doggles. Doggles? It's because my mum's just put Raggles at the bottom. Doctor Man.
Cool.
Good old Rags.
But yeah, so I will bring up your next book, mate.
Cool.
And it's your final book as well, isn't it? So there you go, mate.
So my final read in Comics in Quarantine is The New X-Men, written by Grant Morrison, and the artwork is by Frank Quality. Excuse me. Anyway, I only read the first, I think it's 4 issues, which is the story arc of E for Extinction. And I tell you what, Rich, if you like dark, read this.
Is it dark?
It is dark. I didn't expect it to be as dark as it was going to be. And yeah, what happens in it is really, really good. Basically, depending on whether or not you've read it or you're interested to read it or not, but there's this one character who is introduced as a first appearance in the first issue. She's then does some bits and pieces. She's not a mutant, but she has abilities. Then there's a whole thing where she destroys one particular part of the X-Men universe, like completely destroys it. And it's super dark, and then you think she's been beaten and she hasn't been, and yeah, very, 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 very good. I would recommend this to you, mate, for sure. There's one panel where I was like, oh my god, that's brutal. I can't believe they actually, what they imply, you think, oh my, I can't believe they've done that. How they got away with it, I guess, is because they've rebranded it the New X-Men rather than the X-Men that you know and love.
Okay.
But I think this is one of the best written X-Men runs for quite some time, actually, after the original Uncanny X-Men run.
Yeah, cool. I mean, as I say, I know, like Grant Morrison, obviously,
Quietly,
very good writer. He's more known for his works with DC, isn't he? He's done Batman, hasn't he? I think has Grant Morrison done Batman?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he has, hasn't he? I want to say he has. I know that I've been looking at like omnibus, which omnibuses to buy, and I'm sure Grant Morrison's on there. I don't know.
He's done some fantastic stuff, and I was really surprised about how good this is. I'm going to continue to read it because I want to read all the new X-Men. Just different. It's a different take on it. It comes off the back of the whole Sentinels thing, and it comes off the back of I think basically, sorry, Raggles. Basically, Cyclops has been taken over by Apocalypse in his head. So this is kind of the repercussions of that. So what happened? You know, his character is distant from Jean. They're not getting on that well. Logan is an absolute. He's pretty much the Hugh Jackman Wolverine that we know and love. He's got a bad attitude. It's really good. I would definitely read it. Well, recommend to read it.
Sweet. Yeah. I've just had a quick Google.
Yeah, R.I.P. is brilliant. Batman R.I.P. is excellent.
He's also Scottish as well.
So, yeah, he's local. He's doing the current Green Lantern run.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's doing that. Yeah, we started reading that, didn't we? Right then, so last one, and you'll be able to talk about this one as well. This is obviously again all my Flash research and all the rest of it. Red Flashpoint. I know that you spoke to me about Flashpoint before.
Yeah, great.
Because of obviously the whole sort of ramifications with obviously Barry Allen's mom, and the way that they kind of like there's like that kind of reset within the timeline for the Flash, and it's not really expected, and you don't know quite what's going on at the start of the book and everything. So yeah, I read Flashpoint, thought it was brilliant. Obviously spoke about it quite a lot, so I won't in the video on Tuesday, but yeah, leading into the Button is perfect because the Button carries on where Flashpoint finishes off. And then I would say obviously your Doomsday Clock then follows on perfectly from the button. So if you're going to read any books, read these three: Flashpoint, the button, and then head into your Doomsday Clock, and they all just seem to mold into one perfectly. Absolutely, can't recommend them highly enough. But as I say, we obviously do quite a big run through of the Flash. If you want to check out, obviously, the video from Tuesday, do that.
It's another Jeff Johns, isn't it?
Yeah, Jeff Johns again. So just yeah, superb story and all the rest of it.
But so the universe wide open after this one. Flashpoint starts a whole new 52.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the whole thing. You just the whole, like, it leads into all the rebirth stuff and everything, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right then. So, do we want to talk about what sort of stuff? What a couple of our deliveries?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Awesome. So, because I'm missing, and you've mentioned obviously the James Tynion stuff with with your Turtles Batman crossover, and I am really missing the current Batman run. We should have been looking forward to starting Joker War in a couple of weeks, and there's been more appearances of Punchline that we haven't got to read, and to see where that's going. With all the hype that was going on with Punchline. So I went back in time and I did preview this the other day, but yeah, I've gone and picked up these deluxe editions of Batman Detectives. This is book 2,
mate. This is such a good run. The Detective Comics the Rebirth Detective Comics is incredible. What he does with Clayface and Cassandra Cain is really good. I actually really enjoyed reading this one,
so I'm really excited. I'm just waiting for my book 1 to land, and then I will start reading those next week. So I'll be able to talk about those in my weekly reads. So that's what the first thing that I've been having delivered. And then today, I wasn't sure that it had arrived in time, but I haven't read it yet. It's because I'm going through I'm getting into my Silver Age collecting. So this is the first sort of delivery of a Silver Age book. I'm not into, like, as I say, the whole older stuff, but it's where is it? Issue 41, Fantastic Four. It's not a great condition one, but I've bought it to read. So I'm not too bothered about the condition and stuff like that. But it's a pretty cool cover with a thing on there and everything. So I'm really, really looking forward to diving into these. I've got some more coming next week, which I'll show you. Happy days.
Is that a price stamp on the front of it?
Yeah. So it was it's a 12-cent copy, and then you got the price stamp of 10p.
That's well good, because they don't mark those down in CGC by that much because of them being a manufacturing thing.
Yeah, exactly. The thing with this one is the spine's quite duffed up, but it is quite a nice. It's all right. As I say, all the pages are there. There's no rips, no tears in it, so it'll do me for a little bit of a read anyway. So there you go. That's everything I've had, I think, anyway, this week. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I got this week. I managed to pick up the Amazing Spider-Man issue 410 because we were talking about it last week, and I wanted it.
Oh yeah. Cool.
So I managed to get the first appearance of Spider Carnage. So I'm actually really chuffed with that, and it's actually really quite good nick. So I'm really chuffed with that because I wanted it. Once we talked about it, I was like, I kind of think I need that in my collection. I also have been getting quite a few X-Men comics, so I managed to get the first appearance of Omega Red, issue 4 of X-Men.
Nice
the second appearance, that is. It is. They are really good, actually. I'm really chuffed with how they came.
Yeah.
I've got the following issue, which is the second appearance of Omega Red.
Cool.
And then I got issue 6 as well.
Have you got? So it was like obviously like a little bit of a run of somebody's.
Yeah, I mean, I got issue 4 and 5 from the guy. And 5 from the guy, and then he said to make it a bit better because I'd paid double on postage because there were 2 different lots. He sent the X-Men 6 for free. Well,
that's cool.
For the postage, but it's the Jim Lee run, so I'm quite interested in collecting it because it goes on for I think it's about 12 issues. Jim Lee runs on this. I'm not entirely sure. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And then I got this Silver Age Thor, which is amazing. I'm well chuffed with it. It's
nice.
22, but it's a journey into mystery rather than the Mighty Thor.
Yeah.
So I'm quite chuffed with that one, and it's in really good nick. So I'm really happy with this one, and that only cost me £5, so I'm quite pleased.
That's you can't knock that. I mean, this one was only like £4 as well. You can see it's got obviously this like fold down the bottom, which I think was where somebody obviously like whacked it in their pocket or something. But yeah, I did just check. This was the story. It's a Stan Lee story, and art by Jack Kirby, which is as I say, I bought quite a lot of these, but I remember that was why I was like, I need the issue. I can always upgrade for condition at a later point, but at least I get to read it, because that'll be one of my first like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby combination books that I've actually bought. Do you know what I mean? And some of them obviously they're dead expensive.
I've not even opened it to have a look, to be fair. Oh yeah, mine's Stan Lee and Jack Kirby too. Yeah,
that's what I say. And obviously,
happy days.
That's the beauty of the Silver Age, is just all virtually everything that's been bashed out, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, which, like, you know, nobody's ever going to argue with that.
No, man, this is quality. I didn't expect it to be as good on the inside.
Yeah. Good, man.
Oh, bit of a cleaner press. This will be wow sound, this book.
Oh, there you go. You're going to practice on that one, are you? I think you should practice on some 2-pounders first, mate.
Yeah, I think this is, if I could get an 8 on this on CGC, it's £1,000.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mess about with this one at the moment.
No. But I think, but that's it. As I say, I've got more stuff on the way next week. I don't want to say too much about that. You know what I've got coming, but yeah, I'm quite excited. It's Silver Age goodness, inspired by Tuesday's video. But
really, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it, because I haven't paid very much for it, so the books aren't in great condition. But again, it's stuff that I haven't had before, and I'm going to read them.
Happy days, mate.
Happy days. There you go. Greyman says practice on 50p comics. So there you go, mate. Well, first time we get to go to like a Comic Mart or Comic Con, I think that's all we're going to be doing, isn't it? We're just going to be buying as many Silver Age books, just any condition, just something to practice on.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I mean, I've got all the kit now, so apart from the presser.
Yeah. But, plenty of time. So I think we're all done, aren't we? So we can call it a day there.
So
with that, if you are new, obviously do check out our other videos. Got playlists and stuff like that. Obviously quite new to the whole streaming thing, so obviously just still like easing ourselves in for that. But yeah, make sure you subscribed. Obviously, give us a thumbs up. I did forget earlier to say, if you want to keep in touch with us, know when we upload, press that bell icon. That's Tom's job normally, but as I say, I'll say obviously take care.
And I'll say stay safe and stay indoors and look after yourselves, read loads of comics, and both me and Raggles will say, see you.
All right, guys. See you next time.